Hello and welcome to the video. I'm Vuvi Yaloovie coming at you live and not live from somewhere on planet Earth. And this is an attacking and positioning guide in Pokémon Legends ZA. Let's get to it because people don't like digression in their guide videos. That was really off tune. So first of all, I want to cover positioning, even though it's attacking and positioning. I think understanding our Pokemon's positioning is really important to understand where our Pokemon's going to be at all times, right? And the first thing to understand about where our Pokemon is going to be is to know where their home position is going to be, or their anchor point. And what is an anchor point? An anchor point is what your Pokemon is always trying to position towards to, right? So it's always going to move to a certain position at any given time. That is its home position, its anchor point. So where is it actually in game? It's to the front and to the right of our trainer's position. Well, now let's simplify front and to the right a little bit. I like to call it our 2 o'clock position because our Pokemon is in the direction of our northeast and nobody likes saying cardinal directions, so it's our 2 o'clock position. Where our Pokemon isn't where the anchor point is. The anchor point and where our Pokemon is are two completely separate things. When we move or turn around, our Pokemon doesn't immediately turn around like our anchor point does. Our Pokemon moves towards its anchor point to catch up to our movements. Because our anchor point is invisible and we can't actually see it, I think it's best to describe its movements as completely mimicking our trainer's movements, but from its 2 o'clock position. What we're going to do is imagine our trainer character on this circle. We need to establish 2 points of reference, one for our trainer and one for the anchor point. Since we already know where our trainer and anchor point are, we can just place them down in a circle like so. Now, since this anchor point is reliant on us, the trainer, to do all the work, we need to establish what direction that we, the trainer, are facing so that the anchor point knows what front and to the right means. So, for simplicity's sake, let's face exactly forward or north, and we're going to be representing what direction we're facing with a line. Now, to show the relationship between our 2 points, between the anchor point and our trainer, let's have a line from our trainer to our anchor point. And because of this relative positioning, we can now see that it is currently 2 o'clock if we add some numbers to our circle here. What's fascinating about it is that we can turn in any direction and the game automatically sets up a new 2 o'clock position for us. This is because the clock itself is doing the rotation and not the individual hands that make up the clock. Now, while the 2 o'clock rule is always a good rule of thumb, there's actually 2 methods of changing your anchor points. The first way is to target something, and the second, well, actually there's 3 ways, but the third way never comes up. The second way is to be against a wall, and it's very important that it's a wall and not an environmental object. I'll get to that. So our first method involves targeting something, and so when you're targeting something, your Pokemon actually takes a stance more forward than they usually do. Now pay attention to this because this is very important for when you start attacking things. Now, because our Pokemon moves forward slightly whenever we're tracking something, I'd like to call it our 1 o'clock position. No doubt because our Pokemon is ready to feast on the enemy, so it is lunchtime, or we're lunch ourselves. Anyway, when you're up against a wall, the anchor point, our 2 o'clock position, rotates to a very specific angle constricted by the radius it basically becomes the opposite direction. It becomes your 10 o'clock position rather than your 2 o'clock position. Now when you're pressing up against a bench, this is basically where the jank happens. To explain it simply, because it isn't counted as a wall by the game, the anchor point never actually changes. This explains all the jank behavior when it comes to benches. Sorry about that. Sometimes you might see Pokemon, on top of a bench. Otherwise, your Pokemon might be trying to run around the bench, and sometimes they might be trying to run into the bench. So I spent the last 4 minutes talking about anchor points and all your anchor points. Get over here, Delmise.
I'm a little busy here.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, well, now let's get into the meat and potatoes of our subject today. Now remember, we don't want our Pokemon to be moving like this Heliolisk here. What a chump! I mean, Chad! What a Chad you are, Heliolisk! And because now we understand anchor points, it's gonna make sense if I tell you that our anchor point, whenever we turn around, becomes our new 2 o'clock position. And because our Pokemon moves the shortest distance possible, it's going to move a straight line from its former anchor point to its new anchor point, resulting in this crossover action. So how do we stop that? Because we, the trainer character, are only issuing orders to our Pokemon. We're not actually the ones who are giving points, even though we're commanding our Pokemon to take points. Our Pokemon is the one that's feinting or doing the attack. If an attack hits us, nothing happens. We're built like tanks, apparently. So how do we avoid this crossover? We gotta think like our Pokemon. We gotta train like our Pokemon. We just gotta crossover for them. Yeah, it's that simple. Actually, you've actually got a faster way of making your Pokemon turn around. So sticking with that 2 o'clock concept, if we manage our anchor point so that our Pokemon turns so that we turn perpendicular in the direction that our Pokemon is, so if our Pokemon's to our right, we turn to the right, and if our Pokemon's still to the right, we turn to our right direction then. So what I'm saying is if you turn to the right first and then start running down, you can actually make your Pokemon move faster, turning 180, turning around, than you would normally just with crossing over. Some larger Pokemon, like Trevenant, Gyarados, and some other Pokemon I can't remember off the top of my head, but some of the larger Pokemon might require this sort of movement so that they don't get stuck turning around. And this is because that you actually want to manage your rotations of your Pokemon so that they are turning the shortest distance possible. So we want our Vaporeon to turn Oh my... Okay. Sorry guys, gonna need you to go. Okay, so basically we want our Pokemon to turn like this and not to turn like this, because if we're traveling in this direction, then we don't want to make Vaporeon turn 270 degrees rather than 90 degrees, because which one's the smaller number? 90 degrees is smaller. So that means we want Vaporeon to turn, or our Pokemon to turn, a shorter distance so they can start running faster.
Oh.
So you made it this far into the video, and first of all, either A, congratulations for making it this far, or B, thank you for skipping to this part in particular. I'm Vuvi Yaloovie. If you'd like to support the channel, just consider remembering my name for now, and we can call it at that. Oh, and check back every so often. Appreciate it. And now, it's finally time for what you've been waiting for. You now understand anchor points, and by understanding anchor points, the movement was tied to our anchor points, and now we come to attacking. If you understand your anchor points, then you'll know that what I'm going to say will make sense. Jeez. Okay. Who can answer me? If I send out an order circle, if I command my Pokemon to attack, what changes? Is it A, their EV points? Is it B, their species? Is it C, their anchor point? Or is it D, their rank? And the correct answer is C, anchor points! Basically, whenever you send out an order circle or a command to your Pokemon, it's described in 3 different categories: self, arranged, and melee. So we have this order circle that pops out wherever we issue an order. This order circle basically becomes a temporary anchor point that our Pokemon runs to execute the command. If we use a self-targeted move like Protect, the Pokemon stops trying to run home and uses Protect where it is standing. On top of having anchor points, melee moves in particular have a unique property in their initiation ranges, which is just the maximum range in which you can perform an attack from. For example, a move like Waterfall has more initiation range than, say, Crunch. These initiation ranges, however, are totally move dependent or attack dependent. So even if you use, say, Metal Claw with a smaller Lucario, you'll always be initiating the attack from the same range as the alpha one. There's no difference. With each melee attack having a different initiation range, I think it'd be a good time to broadly categorize them. The different melee moves are Direct, AoE, Poke, charging attacks, retreating moves, ranged direct attacks, and gap closes, or as I like to call them, dive and dash attacks. It's important to understand that every melee move has different initiation ranges based on what type of category that move is. Speaking of anchor points, allow me to again explain the importance of understanding your anchor point, because ranged attacks are the simplest types of order circles around, but the most frustrating ones as well. This is because all the ranged attacks in the game do the exact same thing. They send the order circle to your anchor point. And where's our anchor point when we're targeting something? Your 1 o'clock position. Because your tracking position is the same as your 1 o'clock position, which is the same as your ranged attack position. Right down to how it changes based on the distance between you and your target. It also shares the same property that it is also affected by if there's walls in the area, or the fact that environmental objects don't change the anchor point one bit. And now it's time to weigh anchor. Hey, before you go, in consideration of how long I spent on this video, consider recommending this to people you think would need this information through your socials, and leave a like and subscribe. Ugh, jeez. Oh, don't know what came over me. It's almost like I'm a YouTuber now. Anyway, so as for what's coming next, it's time. Who will I use for this channel's first ranked match online? And why is it not Modest Garchomp? This has been Vuvi Yaloovie, ta and ta-ta. Alright, if I'm going to make a gameplay video, it's gotta be the meta. Everyone's gonna like Metagross. Yeah, I feel like that joke's been made before. What else could I do? I mean, Ampharos? The light, the beacon of hope that everyone's hoping for? Yeah. You see it everywhere. Just like you see Garchomp. I mean, there's a modest amount of them, right? I mean, if there's so many of them, people must like it, right? What about Gyarados? Gyarados has kind of fallen out of favour, but then again, there's a bit of a resurgence of Gyarados. Well, I really can't make my mind up. I mean, I've got 5 of them. Could use a more special-oriented one. Nobody expects the special Gyarados, right? Yeah, I suppose we got a Garchomp, Metagross. But nobody expects the Simipour. So we got we got Xerneas. I mean, yeah, Xer. Nah, I can't do that. It's a legendary Pokemon. I'm not that dedicated. So, you've had a... Hey, wait a minute. Something's in my flamethrower roast. Let's see. Yeah, no, I can't read it while it's still in the flamethrower roast. Use your favorite Pokemon. I'm sorry, what? Use your favorite Pokemon. I'm not imagining this right. Favorite Pokemon? But that doesn't really get any views. Who cares? Just have fun with it. Yeah, well, I suppose you're right. What's the harm? I guess I'll just do, what's that, Breakson? Check your moves. Well, alright, I guess I could. Well now.